It was always fun.
Boom! How's it going, comrades? This is Wes, aka Dr. Fumbles here with another reaction. Guys, we're on another What If from Echidnut. Now I know I've seen some of your comments. I know you guys were pretty much saying like Les is the one that's useless. But I mean, I want to react to it. You know, I want to see. I want to see for myself. I want to see. I want to see for myself. You guys say it was funny though, so it looks like you guys also did say the next one, the next what if you should do should be Pride and then Wrath. So that's one. That's the order I'll do. So after less I'll do Pride and then Wrath. But I know you guys were saying that this one is pretty much kind of useless. Y'all even say that the creator even kind of like just wiped it. Like he was like, you know what? Never mind. I was like, dang. So was it like that bad, or what? Like it's literally like of no significant importance at all? All right, this would be interesting. All right, well, I mean, I do hope it's funny. You know, like I at least hope that. So guys, you know, without further ado, let's just get into it.
Every year on April 1st, the author of ReZero writes a spin-off story explaining what would have happened if Subaru went down a different route than the one we saw. If you happened to watch my last video, you got to see Subaru as the Purge King.
Oh no! Don't tell me that yet. I need to. That was whatever. Okay, whatever.
Well, now he's the Harem King. Welcome
Harem
to the
King?
Butterfly Dream,
So I probably
aka
should
the
have did
Harem
Wrath
If.
first,
This
and then did
chapter
this.
is confirmed to be the Lust If story, but it was actually written
By the
before
way,
the
guys,
author
I'm
had
gonna be
figured
looking at my
out what
phone
he
a lot
wanted
just
the If
because I have
stories to
food on the
be.
way. Okay.
So
I'm
Lust
paying
doesn't
attention.
exactly belong with the other If stories. Pride, sloth, wrath, greed, and gluttony all show us what would have happened if Subaru had made the wrong decision at a specific point in the story. All of which, by the way, are beautifully written works of art laced with world building, character development, lore, and information that
Heck
has
yeah,
allowed us to
man, like
appreciate
that
ReZero at a
Sloth
higher
would've.
degree than we ever thought possible. Sadly, Lust does not fit that description at all. Again, it was written before the author had established what he wanted the If stories to be, so in comparison to the others, it's just not good. In fact, Lust is the
Damn.
only If story that has ever been deleted by the author. The entire thing was actually written in one sitting, so I probably spent more time reading it than the author spent writing it. But that's because the story wasn't supposed to be good. You see, Lust was actually the author playing an April Fool's prank on the readers. The idea was to upload a ridiculous harem chapter and then delete it a day later, making the readers question their sanity. He wanted the readers to wonder whether
Give me 1 second, guys. Let's have to pause for 1 second. All right, guys. Sorry about that. Had to get my food. But we're back, so let's resume.
the whole thing, hence the title Butterfly Dream.
It was all a dream.
At the time of writing it, he
was all a
didn't
dream.
intend for it to be anything more than a funny prank, but years later confirmed that it was technically the Lust If. In my opinion though, it should not be classified as an If story because it's just way
Damn.
too different than the others. Free to point it out in the comments.
He's just really
we
telling
aren't
me that
sure
this is
where exactly the
completely
story
useless story.
diverges from the main plot. I'm guessing it was somewhere in Arc 3, but it doesn't really matter anyway because the whole thing's a joke. Now earlier when I said
Doesn't even matter.
Subaru was the Harem King, I meant
Yeah.
it literally. In this story, Subaru
Bro,
starts
I
out
have
as
said
the
it
king of
time and time and
Laguniga
again.
after marrying
ReZero's a
all
harem.
5 royal selection candidates. King Subaru now lives in the royal castle with his harem that consists of all 5 candidates as well as Rem and
Wait.
Petra. The story begins with Subaru being woken up by Petra's voice. Breakfast is almost ready, so Petra wanted Subaru to hurry and wake up so they wouldn't be late. But Petra's voice was awfully close, like right next to his ear. Subaru rolls over and sees Petra in the bed curled up next to him.
Aww.
Yes, Subaru just woke up next to a 12-year-old. Instead
What?
of immediately hiring a lawyer, Subaru grabs Petra and squeezes her body against his own in the bed because it was a cold morning and Petra's body heat was nice and warm pressing up against Subaru. They
Okay.
exchange a bit of flirty dialogue, but eventually get out of bed and agree to walk to the dining room to
FBI, open up!
What? Am I? No. No. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. So you're telling me? I mean, at first I'm just thinking. I said, well, no, that's adorable. You know, she's like, you know, Maybe she was scared to sleep alone. You know, she's a little kid. You know, she wants to sleep with Big Brother, Uncle Subaru, whatever. I'm gonna hold your body close to mine. And would they exchange flirty dialogue? What do you mean? Subaru, FBI, open up.
Arriving at the dining room, Subaru is greeted by Crusch's angry voice. "You're
Ooh.
late," she says. Subaru gets nervous and tries to come up with an excuse, but Crusch reminds him that she can see right through.
Oh, sorry to pause it, guys, but you know, I got what you were saying. Like like how you were saying, technically, it this story doesn't really diverge from any other path. It looks like he just, and I think he even said it earlier. He says that he thinks that there's a point where he diverges, but he's like it doesn't even matter because the story is so damn useless. It doesn't. There's no point to really telling it. My thing is though, I kind of wish that there was a diversion, a place where it diverged from, even if the story is like a slice of life useless story. You know, it still would have been something that. But then again, I guess it wouldn't make sense because there was really nothing lighthearted about Subaru's situation when you think about it. So I don't know. All right, let's
Through
continue.
his lies with her divine protection of wind reading. She then accuses him of flirting with Petra, to which Subaru can't exactly deny. He feels bad, so he gives Crusch a big hug and tells her that he didn't mean to offend her. But
What?
as the two of them are hugging each other, they suddenly realize their faces have drawn very close together.
Yeah.
Now, usually when this type of situation occurs, in most harems, the characters will get all embarrassed and jump away from each other.
No, not Subaru.
Well, in this story, Crusch and Subaru start making out.
Yeah.
I'm talking tongue action and everything just right there in the middle of the dining room. Anyway, Crusch is suddenly depicted as delicate and feminine. As she's kissing Subaru, her eyes start to water and her ears turn red. But as soon as the kiss is over, Crusch immediately switches back to her normal, more masculine personality.
Oh my
All
god.
that kissing must have worked up quite an appetite, because right after they're done, they just sit down next to each other and start eating breakfast like nothing happened. Subaru takes a bite and then the scene changes.
Wait, I'm just sorry. So there's just like just looking to each other's eyes. Just go in for it, right? And it's just like, you hungry? I can go put something to eat. All right, come on, let's eat. R- Really? What even is this, dude? It's so random. Oh, ad coming in 3, 2, 1.
Recently, I was
He's incredibly stressed about all the work he has to do as the king of Lagunica, but luckily Rom is there
So
in the
he's
room with him.
look,
Subaru
he's
begs
the
her to help him
king.
with the documents, and after a bit of resistance, she reluctantly agrees. Unlike
That's interesting.
Subaru, Rom's clerical work is surprisingly fast and efficient. Subaru notes that it's probable that Rom had also been doing office work behind the scenes at the Roswell mansion.
Where's
He
Rom?
then tells Rom that when she isn't talking, she's actually very cute. Rom replies with her usual string of insults, followed by a surprisingly polite request for Subaru to please not compare her with her sister. It was out of character for Rom to speak this way with Subaru, and something about it was oddly pleasant. They then return to the documents and continue working together in silence. Suddenly, the door bursts open and Priscilla barges in, announcing
Oh
that it's her
gosh,
turn to spend time with Subaru.
I hate this
Subaru
shit.
completely ignores her and continues working on his
Yeah.
documents, but Priscilla kicks over the table in anger. Subaru rushes to catch the fallen items and tries to pick everything up off the floor, and after confirming that nothing's been broken, he sighs and explains to Priscilla that he's been really busy with all these documents. It's then revealed that Subaru's been bringing new technologies to ReZero. For example, he used a small fire crystal to create a portable furnace, or as we call it, a lighter. That way, people can cook stuff even if they can't use fire magic.
Wow, so
By
he's
the way,
starting
in
to.
Obereru, Subaru made most of his money by doing the same kind of thing, so maybe this helped him convince all the candidates to marry him, I don't know. But this whole concept of bringing new
Wow.
inventions to the ReZero world seems to be
Imagine
pretty
that.
common for
Wait,
Subaru across all the
how does
timelines.
Emilia feel
Anyway,
about
he
this?
tries to show Priscilla the lighter, but it
I know
malfunctions
it's not
and the
canon
fire
or
crystal
anything, but
starts overheating. In a few seconds, it'll explode in Subaru's face, causing possibly fatal injuries. But Priscilla quickly pulls her fan out of her cleavage and slices the lighter in half, saving Subaru's face from being horribly burnt. Subaru thanks her for protecting him and decides that maybe he can take a short break from his work and spend some time with Priscilla.
Ugh.
This made Priscilla pretty happy, so she walks up, sits on Subaru's lap, and then wraps her arms around him, pulling him close. Even though he's been touched by Priscilla many times before, he still isn't used to it. The sensation of her fingertips on his neck made his lips moisten, and then Priscilla leans in and starts kissing Subaru. That lucky bastard. Whatever, let's move on to Anastasia. Anastasia's on the couch across from Subaru, watching him work on the big pile
His
of
descriptions are
documents.
making me kind of
It seems that the
uncomfortable.
Hoshin Trading Company was able to successfully expand their markets into Lagunica now that Subaru was king. The two of them exchange dialogue for a bit, and after
So,
the
is this-
conversation's over,
he
Anastasia
just-
gets up and sits down
this
right
what
next
if?
to
It's
Subaru.
just
They start
Subaru's
cuddling together
interactions
like lovers do,
with
and
all of
Subaru
these-
strokes Anastasia's hair. It was
with all
long
of the
and soft and
candidates.
felt like the hair of a little baby
And
animal.
he's just gonna,
While
like,
Subaru's
make out with all of them?
essentially petting Anastasia, she nuzzles her nose
Well,
into
all
his
his
chest
life.
like some kind of cat or something.
That's
After
adorable.
some time passes, Subaru eventually returns to his room where he finds Felt lying in his bed.
Oh
So,
my god.
once again, let's think about this from a legal perspective.
Yeah.
If you get home and there's a 14-year-old in your bed waiting for you, the
Ye-
FBI is probably in the other room.
Yeah.
But again, Subaru doesn't seem to be too worried about going to prison. He looks
Well-
down at Felt.
Okay, hold on, time out. How old is Subaru at this point, right? I mean, I shouldn't really overthink it because, like I guess this would have doesn't matter. But like, for the sake of argument, like, isn't he like 16 here, 15 or 16 years old, or is there a time skip? Because they say he's king now, so is there like a time skip? Is he like an adult now? No, he's not, right? He's like 15 or 16 years old, and she's 14. So, I mean, there's only a 1 or 2 year difference, and I mean, obviously, yeah, to us or whoever, like, depending how old you are. To me, she's definitely underage, but so is Subaru at this point, right? So, like, they're just two crazy kids, So, I mean, I don't know.
And slowly approaches her while he takes off his jacket, removes his tie, and unbuttons his shirt.
Yeet.
He reaches the bed and lays down next to her, the two of them facing each other. He tells her that because of the way she's positioned on the bed, he could see everything under her skirt when he walked in. Felt doesn't really seem to mind, but she punches Subaru anyway. However, Subaru catches her punch and pulls her arm. Felt starts blushing and explains that she's intimidated by Subaru's other wives. She thinks she can probably beat Anastasia, but doesn't think she can beat Emilia or Rem, and her chest isn't nearly big enough to compete with Crusch and Priscilla. But despite all that,
She's not
she's
wrong.
still determined to try her very best. Subaru thought that was adorable, so he hugs her even harder, and then a heavy rain of kissing pours down into the room. Later that evening, Rem asks what happened to Subaru's left eye. He explains that Felt punched him after he got a little carried away. Rem tells him to be careful next time, but Subaru tells Rem that she's actually the one who needs to be careful. As he says this, he touches Rem's stomach, which was noticeably larger than it used to be. Yes, Rem is pregnant with Subaru's child.
How much longer do we have here? Let's see. It's 15 minutes long, so that's like about like 5.5 minutes, I think. Okay, I can get through this. Already regretting it though. Okay, so this man he didn't knocked up Rem. I mean, at least this is somewhat consistent. I mean, in the slot if he got with Rem and knocked her up, right? So he knocked her up here. So okay, maybe you guys can explain to me too. How old are they right now? Because Petra, yeah, like I mean, right? Subaru and Rem, because ah, thing is, no matter what answer is given, this is just a terrible situation. Because okay, if Subaru is an adult, then okay, I can condone him knocking up Rem. Okay, fine. But then, if he is an adult, the stuff that he's been doing with Petra and what's her name? Felt is questionable, at least. To say the least. We need Chris Hansen. On the other side, if he is still like only like 15 or 16 years old, Okay, that's fine. But what, at 15, 16 years old, he knocked up Rem? So it's like either way, it's still bad. Like, what is this? Teenage pregnancy. Oh my gosh. Like, so he pretty much took all the candidates. He became king, took all the candidates as his wife. They all agreed. I'm just trying to wrap my head around it. All right. So we've seen like, pretty much all of them at this point. I want to see his reactions with Emilia after us. Hopefully they show that.
So not only is Subaru a pimp in this story, but he is also a daddy as well. Nowadays, Rem spends most of her time preparing for the baby, knitting clothes and things like that. She
Aw.
asks Subaru if he would prefer the baby to be a boy or a girl. Subaru thinks about it for a bit and then tells Rem
It's a
if
boy.
it's a girl, he will treasure her and love her and spoil her so much that she'll want to marry her own father. And if it's a boy,
Aw.
then he'll pass down his own father's tradition and become his biggest obstacle, his greatest rival, and his partner in crime.
Oh
Rem
yeah.
blushes as she listens to Subaru's little monologue and gives him a happy smile. Her
No.
smile was so cute that Subaru couldn't help it anymore. He calls Rem's name and she immediately knew what he wanted. Rem closes her eyes and Subaru kisses her, her tongue stretching out somewhat. They hug each other tight the
Rem.
entire time, entangling their love with one another.
Dear Lord.
Subaru was supposed to finish his big load of office work before he went to bed, but as we saw, he got a bit sidetracked by all of his hoes. He's finally got some free time to finish up his work, but instead he decides to go visit his main bitch. Opening the door, he walks into Emilia's room and sees her sitting on the edge of the open window with her hair swaying in the breeze. Emilia was a bit surprised
Best
that
waifu.
Subaru was visiting her at nighttime, but she happily welcomes him with a smile. Emilia's kind words make Subaru shed a tear. Her presence felt like it healed away all the stress he had accumulated as the king of Lagunica. Turning away to hide his face out of embarrassment, Subaru tries to leave the room, but Emilia stops him and pulls his head into her chest. She touches his back with a slow rhythm as if she was comforting a child. Subaru was exhausted from his busy day, so after a while he tells Emilia it's time for him to go to bed, but Emilia offers to let him sleep in her room. Subaru agrees and embraces Emilia with a
I'll sleep along with my daughter. If you insist. That's so good. This is okay. This meme right here is great. This is a top tier 100% A plus plus meme. I give this A plus plus. This is amazing. Sleep along with my daughter. If you insist. Like stop.
hug, and the two of them fall into her bed together. Subaru says goodnight and then tries to fall asleep, but he's interrupted by Emilia saying daisuki. Yes, Emilia tells Subaru she loves him. The two of them start kissing and the chapter ends. Now the next day, the entire story was deleted and replaced by a short bit of text. The text explains the parable of the butterfly dream, but it's written from the perspective of Echidna. Now, Echidna is a Season 2 character, but I'm not going to give any spoilers in this video, so there's
Echidna. Oh. Oh, okay. Echidna. Is that what he's trying to say? Echidna? Wait, he didn't know who she was at the point, so he's calling her Echidna.
no need to click away or anything like that. One day, a man dreamt he was a butterfly, but when he woke up, the man wasn't sure whether it was a dream or if he really was a butterfly who was now dreaming that he's a man. Isn't it fascinating? Those who have dreams are forced to either accept them or let go. Perhaps a dream held such weight that the dreamer
So
themselves
what, like, Subaru
lost
dreamed all
sight
this?
of reality. Would they then consider reality a dream? And what of someone who has many dreams, each with their own characteristics? Which of those dreams is reality to them? I wish I could be there to find out. The end. So yeah, that crazy harem story was replaced by some poetic words about confusing dreams with reality, which is what the author intended this story to be. Remember,
Confusing.
all of this was a prank. The Lust If wasn't supposed to be in the same category as the other If stories, so it wouldn't be fair to compare it with them. Anyway, we didn't really gain much of anything from this If story. I guess one positive thing I can say about it is that some parts were
hilarious.
pretty funny. Everyone was so out of character that it just felt way too stupid sometimes, and I couldn't help but laugh at a couple moments. I think my favorite part of the story was actually Subaru's relationship with Rem. Out of all the interactions, the part with Rem felt the most realistic to me. Anyway,
Actually
I didn't
did.
hate the story, but it's kind of a letdown.
Especially with considering what I know from the Slot If story that they got married, that actually seemed the most realistic, to be honest. Hell, even that conversation between him and Emilia wasn't all that realistic, to be honest.
when you give it the name Lust If. Again, this story was written before Pride, Wrath, Gluttony, and Greed, so the author hadn't figured out what he wanted the If stories to be yet, and that's why I think the Lust If should be rewritten as a proper If story to fit the standards set by the other stories. But yeah, what did you guys think about the Lust If? Did this seem realistic at all? I mean, with infinite lives, could Subaru actually maintain a harem with all of those girls? Personally, to me, the other If stories where he becomes a villain felt more realistic than this one, because I just
becomes a
can't
villain. I
realistically
can't wait for these
imagine
other
all the
ones,
competing
guys.
candidates agreeing to share Subaru. I mean, Priscilla at least would totally start killing people, right? And by the way,
Yeah.
where the hell was Beatrice? I would have preferred to see Beatrice instead of Petra, but I don't know. Let me know what you guys thought. Hopefully this video helped clear up the misconception that the story was deleted because the fans hated it. Don't get me wrong, it definitely was bad, but that's just not why it was deleted. When the story was first released, the feedback it got was actually overwhelmingly positive. The Japanese novel readers liked it a lot, and I think the author did as well. I did enjoy the story, I just don't think it should be classified as the Lust If, that's all. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you want more If stories, let me know. I think I might do the Sloth route next. That's the one where Subaru runs away with Rem, but the problem is, I mean, have you guys seen the Sloth If? It's like 10 times longer than all the other Ifs combined, so I don't know if I should split it in parts or just make one giant video.
And that's what he did.
Anyway, if you want to, you can give the video a like and subscribe if you want to be notified whenever I make a new video, but most importantly, keep talking about ReZero, guys. I'm out for now. Peace out.
Wow. Okay, like, so to his point when he was saying, like, he thinks that the Lust If should be, like, this, like, canceled out period, and, like, it should be replaced. And he should rewrite Lust If as an actual... I half agree with it. I do, because I ain't gonna lie. I do think this was hilarious. It's just, yeah, like, it was all out of place. More to that point, you know, like you were saying, like you guys were saying, and like he was saying, there really was no divergence here, really. Because I can't think of a moment where, like, in this, because it's like he said, because I don't even know, or he doesn't even know for this matter, when this takes place. But I guess that's the point. It doesn't really matter. So I actually wouldn't mind the creator like rewriting this. But see, the thing is though, I still wouldn't mind him keeping this same, how to say, like, the same vibe of this story, just changing things up a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, because my thing is, if you wanted to make like Lust If like comedic and lighthearted, I definitely wouldn't mind that. You know, especially since all the other ones are dark. Apparently, looks like. I think he said all the other ones he's a villain. So that actually gets me excited. So I guess the next one, guys, I will be doing is, I think you guys said to do Pride next, and then Wrath. So I am excited. I am excited for those two guys. I cannot wait. I know you guys definitely can't wait. But guys, I'm sorry. I just had to do this one. It was just this was great. This was funny. I'm glad I did. I do regret it, kind of. It's just there's some things that you can't unexperience, unsee. Guys, like there's like an eyelash in my eye. It's, my nerves. But this was great, guys. I mean, let me know your thoughts and opinions on this. Let me know how did you like it? Did you at least think it was funny? Did you at least find some kind of humor out of it, or did you just hate it? Like, period, you just hated it. And let me know your thoughts on what Echidna is saying. Would you want to see this rewritten, or do you think it's perfect the way it is? Me personally, I'm a little bit of both. I would want to see it rewritten, but also at the same time, I would want to also just I would want him to keep like the same lighthearted comedic feel to it. You know what I mean? Just make it a bit more realistic. 'Cause it's like, yeah, like you were saying, guys, like he it was a spoof. This it felt like a spoof. All the characters were pretty much to me the only two characters that were not out of character was pretty much Rim and Ram, kind of sorta. Ram may have been a little bit out of character. Rem didn't seem like she was out of character, but then again, I can say I could be speaking a little bit biasly because of the slot F, because of her personality and the slot F. So, but anyways, guys, this was this was real fun. But yeah, I will be doing the I think I said Pride F next. So I definitely cannot wait, guys. But I am going to end the video here. If y'all like what you saw, please give me a thumbs up. It helps me a tremendous amount. If you haven't already, why not subscribe? I post Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays. If you guys have any comments about this video or anything in particular that's non-spoilery, post them below. I love when you guys comments. Also, if you need suggestions on what tricks to react to next, post those as well. And if something I have not seen, I will take a look at them. To the next video, guys. I'm seeing nothing but mad love. Stay awesome. Deuces.